Hello and welcome to the show. Recently, I had a conversation with someone who found me, or rather responded to one of the videos on the Instagram handle. And if you're new to the show, the Instagram handle is at sales underscore conversations. And over there, I pretty much just have the same sort of conversations that we do over here on the podcast. Things sales related, personal selling related, and networking, basically anything that we can do which is conversation driven that will help to grow the business. So I put up videos there. I've been doing it almost on a daily basis now for about a month, and I've witnessed some interesting growth on TikTok, especially because I assumed that TikTok was all about twerking videos and challenges and stuff like that. So I'm surprised that there seems to be an appetite for business content, and I'm getting maybe about 120, 150 likes per day on average for each of the videos that I put up. And the followership has been growing at a steady rate. I mean, I started off with zero followers, and without trying to follow people back or to promote the channel, so far I am at 100 and something followers. I can't remember anyway. So it's been a really interesting experiment. I just assumed that business content wasn't going to fly on TikTok at all. So I'm really impressed about how things have been going. Um, yeah. Also, another interesting turn of events for the videos is that I seem to be getting much more engagement on the video content rather than the blog or the podcast. So routinely, people are hitting me up in the DMs because they have questions that they want to ask, things for clarification, or because they have a different point of view. So if you are on any of those platforms, you're on TikTok or you're on um, Instagram, you can check out the handle at sales underscore conversations for Instagram. I can't remember the TikTok handle, but I'll put it out there at some point so that if you guys, any of you spend a lot of time on the platforms, you can come check out the videos and we can get engaged in a conversation over there. Anyway, so the conversation in particular that I'm referring to is this gentleman who was talking about the difficulties of doing business in Nigeria. And it's a conversation that I'm used to because people bring that up a lot. And so, um, yeah, these are conversations that I've been having over the last 3 years or so since I started putting stuff out on the internet. Because for some reason, some people believe that doing business in Nigeria is very challenging. And yes, I know that if you check the what's it called, corruption indexes and stuff like that. Sorry, ease of doing business indexes. Yes, certain African and Asian countries rank really low for ease of business. So I guess there's something to be said for the fact that doing business in Nigeria can be particularly difficult. Anyway, um, I like to engage all these people in conversation anyway, because even though it's not something I'm going to jump to at first, when we're trying to analyze business woes, because I believe that we have nothing. Um, I believe that paying attention to macroeconomic factors as the reason why our businesses fail don't do us any good because we're not in control of macroeconomic factors, and then we end up being victims all the time. So I think we should focus on what it is that is within our own sphere of control, and that way we can succeed whether we're trying to grow the business in Nigeria or if we leave the country and end up in Canada or Iran or wherever, we will have a reasonable measure of reasonable hope that we can grow the business to be successful. So, in having a chat with this guy, it turns out that um, the business that he mentioned that he tried to get into was crypto, Bitcoin, and other alternative coins. And he said there were other things that he purchased, but the drivers didn't turn up for that, and so that business wounded up sour. He also wanted to end up trying out some buying and selling, but then his visa came through, and he decided to just leave the country. So he's left. He's no longer with us. I'm still going to carry on the conversation because I'm interested in seeing what kind of business opportunities he's going to try out in Canada. But then it just got me thinking, my conversation with the chap. And so even though I've made a similar podcast on these sorts of things before, because there's an episode that I made on, I think then it was Forex related and multi level marketing. So, if this is your first time of listening to the show, just scroll down to one of the more older episodes. That will be in the first year. Sorry, you have to scroll quite a bit because we have over, I think we have over 450 episodes now on the podcast. So you'll find the episode on MLMs as multi-level marketing and forex, and the I made those episodes just to explore whether forex and multi-level marketing were um, good alternative sources of income for people in the wedding and the event space. Sorry for the awkward pauses in this recording. It's because I have a cold again. I guess it's that time of year. I was fine until my youngest went back to school, and like clockwork, he came back with a cold, and then we're all back in the same boat. So, where was I? Um, where was I? Okay, yeah, so forex and multi-level marketing. I wanted to see if there were good alternative sources of income for people in the wedding and the event space, because people had been hitting me up to say, "Hey, oh boy, how far? What's up? I have this opportunity in forex. Are you down? I have this multi-level marketing thing. Will you attend the meeting? Blah blah blah." So I just made that podcast recording because I figured maybe at the time these ideas were becoming hot, because these things become kind of cyclical in Nigeria. So multi-level marketing is all the craze for a while. It goes away for maybe 2 3 years, and then it's back again. And investment banks, sorry, not investment banks, super banks as they're called. All those people who you give them 100, and then $100, and then they give you $500 back. Ponzi schemes essentially. So these things, they um, the fads come and go. So I figured we must be in the middle of another fad and some of those issues, whether they are credible business forms or investment forms that we should be getting involved in. So I just like to repeat a couple of things that I said from back then, using this as a case study. So I really don't think it's a good idea to get involved in businesses that need economic or macroeconomic drivers to show up. Like in this guy's case, you buy crypto, you buy Bitcoin, you buy altcoin, you get involved in forex, blah blah blah. Um, the reason why I don't think it's a good idea to get involved in these kinds of businesses is because if you are not good at fundamental analysis is when you try and figure out what the economic drivers are. Is it inflation? Is it population growth? Is it job numbers? Is it the cost of commodities? If you're not good at figuring out those sorts of things, economic drivers or macroeconomic drivers, then you shouldn't be getting involved in these sorts of businesses, whether you consider them businesses or trading opportunities or investments. You have to be good at fundamental analysis. You have to be good at technical analysis in general and technical analysis of particular assets. So, if you're going to get involved in this crypto game, buying for profit, not because you're buying it because um, you lean one way or another, when it comes to that whole thing about is is fiat currencies. Are fiat currencies flawed? Is cryptocurrency the future? Blah blah blah. Some people get involved for philosophical reasons. If you're not getting involved for philosophical reasons, but you want to get involved in this because you're going to do some arbitrage, make a profit on that. If you're looking for this, if you're looking at it to pay rent and school fees and things like that, and to put food in your belly, then don't get involved in these things unless you're good at fundamental analysis and technical analysis of the economy as a whole and of this asset in particular. So, because of that, get involved in until you have learned the trade. So, you have to learn. Also, all these systems that require arbitrage to make money, arbitrage is the idea that you buy something at 1 naira and then you sell it at 1.5 naira. So you have that point 0.5 is your profit, and then you take that 1.5 and you put it back into the market and you buy some more, and then you're able to sell at maybe 3, and then in this case your profit is now 1.5, and then you take that 3 and throw it back into the market and then trade some more. And so that's the idea of arbitrage. Basically, you buy at a low price and you sell at a high price, and then your profit is the difference on top of it. So all these systems that involve arbitrage to make money require you to be capitalized, because the capital is the commodity that you're playing around with. So you have to make sure that you only put money that you can afford to lose, because it's not every time that you put 2 naira in that you're going to get 3 naira out and have a profit. Now, sometimes that you're going to put 2 naira in and you're going to lose that 2 naira. Some of these platforms give leverage, and leverage just means they allow you to borrow money. So it's possible that you put 2 naira in, you not only lose 2 naira, but you now end up owing the platform owners or the market makers, you now end up owing them maybe 10 naira. And then in that case, you didn't really lose 2 naira, but you ended up losing 12 naira. So it requires you to play around with money that you can afford to lose. So these kinds of businesses require education. That's one, and they require float. Float is what do I say? Let's just say loose change. So it requires education and it requires loose change. So without the education or the loose change, you really can't be playing around in crypto, Bitcoin, alternative coin, forex, stocks, commodities, and other trading opportunities. So um, there are a lot of people out there who try to get into this space. You end up getting bitten, and then you join the bandwagon of people who say that doing business in Nigeria is particularly troublesome. But unfortunately, it's going to be the case. Um, if these are the sorts of things that you're interested in, it's going to be the case whether you try this in Nigeria, whether you try it in Canada, or whether you try it in America. If you don't have the education, you don't know how to analyze the fundamentals. Which way is the economy moving? Which way are demographics moving? Which way, what is the political mood in the country? How does that affect flows of capital and business? If you're not good at technical analysis, reading the charts to figure out if you're in an uptrend when it comes to Bitcoin, or if you're trading the dollar or the yen in forex markets, if you're not good at reading technical analysis and then figuring out where is the trend, are you in an uptrend, are you in a downtrend, or are things just trading? That means that there's no trend. If you don't have the education, you don't know how to figure all these things out, and you don't have money to play around with, then you're going to get burned, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you are in America, in Canada, or um, Mozambique. So, um, yeah, so that's just the summary, basically. Just in case we have other people who are running around saying that um, building a business in Nigeria is tough. Yes, it can be tough. And if what the folks in Harvard and all these places that run all these indexes say, then yes, I guess running a business in Africa or Asia is much more difficult than in other countries. But let's give it some thought that perhaps you are involved in sectors that you don't have a unique talent for, or you don't have a unique interest in, or you don't have enough capital to play in. So it's something that we should figure out as well. Let's not always default to Buhari has ruined the economy, or that Trump has destroyed the economy, or that Biden has destroyed the economy, or the new PM in the UK. It's not just assume that the Prime Minister has ruined the economy. Because some of these situations, it's just that you put your hand where you are not well. Let's just say you bit more than you can. You try to bite more than you can chew. So, yeah, that's it. Let's try not to bite more than we can chew. Doing any kind of business in any country is hard enough. Let's not try jumping into crypto, Bitcoin, Forex, multi level marketing, blah, 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 all this other stuff. If we do not understand it, okay, let's remove multi level marketing from the mix. That's a topic of a separate discussion. But for all these things where you're trying to make money from arbitrage, if you don't know fundamental analysis, you don't know technical analysis, you don't know how to read particular assets, and you don't have spare change to play around with, then don't get involved in these sorts of things. So, thank you very much for listening to today's episode. I'll catch you guys